The exhibition will offer not only the prospect of improvement, the benefits of cultural interchange, and the facilitation of foreign trade, but also the distinct possibility of financial advancement to the promoters.
Owen Jones, the 19th century architect, initiated the idea of the Palace of the People. This was constructed to the designs of Alfred Meeson in 1873, the Alexandra Palace. It stood proudly and massively at Muswell Hill in North London. 16 days after its opening, during which time 124,000 people had visited the building, it was destroyed by fire. Less than 2 years after the destruction of the first building, a new palace rose like the phoenix from the ashes. It immediately caught the imagination of the general public, who thronged to the palace and park for various events and entertainments through the 1880s and 90s. In 1900, a trusteeship was set up by Act of Parliament, and the control of the palace and park was given to local authorities. This act continues to require the trustees to make Alexandra Palace and Park available for the recreation of the public forever. After the interruption of the First World War, the palace and park reassumed their peacetime roles, and people continued to come in large numbers for recreation and enjoyment. As many as 60,000 attended an international scout rally in 1922. In 1936, the BBC made the first high-definition television transmissions from Alexandra Palace, using an aerial which was constructed on the southeast tower. Programme production continued in the Baird and Marconi studios for many years, and the national news was compiled and transmitted from Alexandra Palace until 1968. The venue continued to be an important centre for exhibitions throughout the post-war years and celebrated its centenary in 1975. The transfer of the trusteeship of the palace from the GLC to the London Borough of Haringey, together with a dowry to ensure its financial independence from future public funding, was arranged in 1980. Detailed plans had been drawn up for extensive development to ensure its commercial viability, and work was underway when in July 1980, for the second time in the building's history, in the aftermath of the fire, the Alexandra Palace and Park executive team were determined to carry on with the programme of events that had already been planned, and so the Alexandra Pavilion was born. It's an airy and spacious building and has proved popular with the organisers of a wide variety of events and with those who visited them. By retaining the professionalism of the palace staff, high standards of service and facilities are still a reality at the Alexandra Palace venue. As well as being architecturally innovative, the facilities inside the pavilion are technically in step with what's expected of a modern exhibition centre. The same design team is carrying out an ambitious and exciting programme of reconstruction, refurbishment and repair. Alexandra Palace and Park will soon once again be one of the nation's most prestigious permanent venues for exhibitions, sports, entertainment, conferences and banqueting. And as with the original thinking behind the Palace of the People, the commercial interests of the main halls will support the park and complement the public facilities for sport and leisure. Starting at the west side of the palace building, the Palm Court will be a large and pleasant public area reflecting the palace's Victorian heritage. Visitors will pass through the main public entry point, the west door. They'll be able to use the pub and restaurant, find out what's on at the palace and make bookings for forthcoming events. There'll be large planted areas giving a profusion of greenery, and there'll be a rostrum for bands and performers. The Palm Court will be a spacious and congenial area where visitors can orientate themselves and meet their friends before going on through the West Corridor to an event elsewhere within the building. The West Hall will give nearly 3,000 square metres of adaptable clear space, which can be completely blacked out, giving event and exhibition planners all the options and comprehensive backup services they need. It can operate independently of the Great Hall or in conjunction with it. The Great Hall, the heart of Alexandra Palace, provides a space of approximately 7,000 square metres, accommodating up to 7,500 people. The floor area will be completely clear, and adding to the feeling of space, the roof will employ traditional materials externally, but will be constructed along the same lines as the pavilion internally, with a translucent fabric lining, giving excellent diffused natural lighting. Also overhead there's a PA system and lighting rigs. An underfloor network of services in both halls provides three-phase mains power, telecommunications, compressed air, and a water supply and drainage. And naturally, the very latest fire prevention and security systems. It's planned that as a focal point, the Great Henry Willis organ will be reinstalled at the north end of the Great Hall. This whole area will be amply serviced by restaurants and bars, and will be one of the largest clear spaces for exhibition use in London. Indeed, it will be capable of accommodating a banked indoor running track with space for some 3,000 spectators. The Great Hall will become a regular venue for many different occasions. The configuration of the building will allow for good spectator sightlines and television coverage.